Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is John Fahey. Joining me as ever, prettiest boy under the sun, high-functioning pervert, 100% for real, with that body right now, a man I'll love until the day I die, a thinker, a stinker, a pee-pee drinker, warping into hyperversion before my very eyes, HBCG or hot-bodied cum god to the slowpokes, Michelangelo's David Duchovny, a tasty little tidbit from round back, 3 kids stacked in a trench coat, but all the kids are shredded and have huge cocks. He has no symptoms, no disease. He has no sleazy STDs. They're called herpes, not his peas. The alpha and omega and the sole surviving savior, Aaron Joseph Pita, everybody.
Thank you so much, John.
Wow.
I want to just, if I may, amend that amazing intro where you had notes.
Yeah.
You were reading my bio like...
He asked me
I
for
was like,
paper.
what's all this shit I've been saying? And then I was like, man, I said a lot of
That's
shit.
incredible. It touches me.
Couple of new guys in there. Like that?
HBGC? HBCG?
Dude, I said...
You also forgot that I am the Marquise, and my sinners are ready.
That's exactly right. You are
But
the Marquise.
hot-bodied cum god, Michelangelo's David Duchovny?
So he's a pervert.
Three midgets in a trench coat, except they're all,
They're all shredded.
kids.
They're all
they're shredded
shredded.
with huge cocks.
They have huge cocks.
Do they know they have huge cocks?
Well, yeah, now. Yeah, they're
Got caught in that
unaware. No symptoms, no disease, baby.
And that's exactly... And
No
then,
sleazy STDs.
No sleazy...
They're called herpes, not his peas.
Damn it, John. That is the sweetest thing anybody's ever done.
You like
for
that
me.
fucking shit right now?
I can't believe that you kept it a secret.
I was being a little fucker today. Matt was like, oh, you preparing something? I was like, I'm being a fucking idiot.
Exact words.
When I said hot body cum god, and I was like, I need to stop saying this. That's really gross and a bit much up top. And then people sent me some shit with like hashtag HPCG. Like I was like, it's like one of those like you throw out testers to the perverts to see what they glom onto, and they're like, I'm here.
Hi, I'm here
right
for the hot buddy cum god.
I'm here for the HPCG hashtag.
I was told there'd be hot buddy cum gods. Is this the right?
It's the right party. I'm here for the gangbang.
That's wonderful. Thank you, and thank everybody who's into hyperversion.
Absolutely, yeah. Accelerate warping into it before my very eyes.
You know, it's like that scene in Star Wars and 2001, but of dicks.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And one big butthole.
Now, Aaron, to your right, my left, good-looking young son of a bitch, Matthew Joseph Brousseau.
Oh,
Thank you,
fuck.
thank you.
He's one giant cock in a trench coat with abs.
That also has abs.
Oh, okay.
That's very, very good. I like that. You like that big dick with abs.
Wow, that dick is shredded.
Oh my god, that shaft has abs for some
It's
reason.
in curls.
I want to say,
so vascular.
please get involved with the Patreon. We are having a heap of fun over there. If you listen to the show, if you love the show, if you can't get enough of this hot body cum god before me, nor this good-looking young son of a bitch,
This shredded 6-foot penis in a trench coat.
you want to get involved with the Patreon. Every week there's a new show, different stripes and varieties. And check us out on YouTube. Laura is making videos over there. Shout out to Laura. And Aaron, before we get into your second part of your profile,
Sure.
I think Matt has a little tidbit over here for us.
Yeah. So
Do you
we
have a
did
bit of tid?
just a touch. We did I did a little baseball thing last week.
That's right.
And this week, it was July 13th, 2019.
Exactly right.
When I did the Pittsburgh Pirates episode, I think I read some...
A fan favorite episode.
I read a couple things from this guy, Jim Bouton. He wrote this book called Ball 4, which was a diary of when he was on the expansion Seattle Pilots. He was a Yankees starter, won 2 games in a World Series, I believe, and then he blew his arm out, tried to throw a knuckleball. And so he kept a diary of his time on this expansion team trying to throw a knuckleball, changed sports writing forever.
No way.
It was the first time there was ever someone as an honest reporter about what was happening in locker rooms.
Oof.
Really?
And you don't want to, it's like the thin blue line. You don't want, there's a sacred clubhouse aspect.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to talk about what goes on in the clubhouse.
Right.
But this guy, he's a fucking knuckleball pitcher. Of course he's going to rat.
Right. I remember as a kid, I read Mickey Mantle's book, My Favorite Summer, 1956, when he won the Triple Crown. They beat the Dodgers in the World Series. Never talked about what a scumbag he was.
None of the drinking, the womanizing, blowjobs behind the bleachers.
Blowjobs?
None of it. None of it was mentioned in that piece of literature.
So I just want one of these things I think was touched on in the Pittsburgh Pirate, but it's my favorite. But I'll just do this quickly because we got to get to the. So this is about Mickey Mantle, right? He said, I once invested $1. This is Jim Bouton talking about when he was on the Yankees. I once invested $1 when Mantle raffled off a ham. I won, only there was no ham. That was one of the hazards of entering a game of chance, Mickey explained.
No, it's just a scam for $1?
It's a game of chance.
It's a ham
Well,
scam.
it's a game of chance. Why? You thought that was a ham?
Sucker.
Idiot. Did you see one?
On the Pilots, he had this old-ass manager, this guy named Joe Schultz, that would say, all right, boys, after a game, he'd say, let's go pound them Budweisers. And he was just this old crank. He coined the term fuck shit and shit fuck. He'd say, this is a bunch of shit fuck.
That's where it came
Yeah.
from.
What does that mean?
It's a fun, it's like when you say dick fart.
Don't act like you don't know.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of shit fuck.
This fucking fuck shit.
So this is just a moment of Joe Schultz. Bouton writes, while we were losing the first game of the doubleheader, we were down 5-1, and it was going to be our third straight loss here. Joe Schultz called to John Gellner, who was keeping the pitching chart. Come here a minute, he said, mentioned Gellner down the other end of the dugout. Gellner was sure he was going to get a big tip on pitching, and Joe Schultz, pointing up to the stand, said, up there, near section 23 sign. Check out the rack on that broad.
Fucking rock stars.
Oh my
man.
God.
I know we're about to blow this whole series right now, and every moment is precious. I see the tits in the pavilion section. Jesus fucking Christ.
There's a lot of free time in
I know
baseball.
my shoulder's blown out. I'm about to blow something else.
All right, last one. I did this in the Pirates one. This is still one of my favorite stories ever. It's about Ted Williams. And it's...
Greatest hitter of all time.
yeah.
Fighting ace, World War II.
In the bullpen tonight, Jim Pagliaroni was telling us how Ted Williams, when he was still playing, would psych himself up for the game during batting practice. Usually early batting practice before the fans and reporters got there. He'd go to the batting cage, wave his bat at the pitcher, and start screaming at the top of his voice, "My name is Ted fucking Williams, and I'm the greatest hitter in baseball." He'd swing and hit a line drive. "Jesus H. Christ himself couldn't get me out." And he'd hit another.
Show me some respect when I'm fucking your wife, you loser.
Look me in the eyes, you cuck.
Then he'd say, "Here comes Jim Bunning. Jim fucking Bunning with that little shit slider of his. Wham. He doesn't really think he's going to get me out with that shit. Bam. I'm Ted fucking Williams."
Supple wrists. He had very supple wrists.
Is that right?
That's exactly right. Best
Supple.
years were wasted in an airplane shooting down.
Yeah, ace pilot.
Japs.
Yeah.
Actually, John loved
Japs.
You loved Ted Williams. Shot down all those Japs.
I don't know about that.
He had
With the
great
supple
vision.
wrists,
Yeah, he had just great wrists.
Well, I mean,
jacking it with one hand, shooting
I think
down.
he needed two hands to jack that big Ted Williams half Mexican cock of his.
fucking-
That's
You
right.
fucking-
And that's why he had such supple rips. Yeah,
Yeah, not to
yes.
mention to send those zany jabs to hell. What?
What? No, they
No, they don't believe it.
kamikaze. Porno kamikaze. Anyway, check out
it's
Ball
wonderful.
4. It's a fucking amazing book. It still holds up.
That's very, very good stuff.
There's a whole documentary on why baseball is such a dramatic and cinematic sport.
Yeah.
I'll find the name and post it online somewhere, maybe on the next episode if I can remember. But that not a lot of sports have books and quotes and stories like this, and baseball is just a very, very special game. And
Baseball is a special game because it gives everybody an opportunity to succeed or fail miserably.
in front of everyone.
In front of
and on their
everyone
own.
At
as
once.
everyone watches. That's why it gets really ridiculous and everybody has the chance to be a star, but do they do it?
Right.
It's the opposite of soccer in the way that it's a game of individuals on a team as opposed to a
Right.
team
Yeah.
game.
That's right. Then that's why it's the American game and not that fucking commie concussing sport known as football.
That's exactly right. Now, Aaron.
I do want to say one more thing about baseball. I think
Yes.
I've got some pictures.
Hey, all right.
I love content.
I got some photos. My pal Jeff Epstein sent them to me.
Yikes.
No. my dad has some Dale
right.
Barra memorabilia.
Oh, yes.
No.
He sent us the, what is it,
Yeah,
bat?
it's got a bat. It's Dale Barra's bat, signed by Dale Barra, and I think a photograph and a jersey, perhaps. And I think I did a gum. I did a gummy off the edge of that bat. Dude, my lips went numb.
Oh, forget about it.
That bat's name was Dale Barra.
It was. Yeah. You went full anesthesia.
That was great.
So good.
So much chop on that pine tar.
Now, Aaron, last time you told us about the very famous Hitler's Jewish psychic,
Yes,
Mr.
Erik Jan Hanussen.
Jan Hanussen, and he was running away to the circus, assisting his father's suicide, cucking a strong man, outing con men. It's been a little bit of a life, I think.
It's been a wild ride, and he's not even,
barely getting started.
barely getting
Fantastic.
started. This may be a three-parter.
This may be the first in Profiles in Eccentricity history.
Damn, what, 80 episodes now?
Yeah.
I think I'm glad I did that big fucking intro for you.
I think I'm glad you did too.
Yeah.
That's a lot to live up to.
Yeah.
No, you are a cum guy.
I mean, well, it's just, you're at bat and everybody's watching.
Good thing I did all this coke. So the last we left Erik Jan Hanussen, a.k.a. Harry Steinschneider, a.k.a. Herman Steinschneider, a.k.a. Hirschman Steinschneider,
And
a.k.a. Alois Barrel.
Steinschneider was Stonecutter.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really cool to
Yeah.
find out about. It's very secret society. I don't know.
Well, yeah, he apparently, I think in the last episode I mentioned that he had a Kabbalistic rabbi in his lineage who perhaps
a
was
Wunder rabbi.
was a Wunder rabbi.
Wunder rabbi.
That's exactly right. Who maybe
What
was
are you guys, just rabbis?
fucking losers. Steinschneider, Stonecutter.
Stonecutter.
Simpsons reference, I guess.
Yeah, that's where they got it.
Yeah.
So we last left him. He was on a boat where he outdid the Pirelli brothers.
God, they were up to some shit.
Oh my god! I mean, they were
Bringing
wearing grease.
snakes
They had fucking fake tanner on.
Snakes on a boat.
Snakes. I've had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking boat. So it's now 1913, and he makes his way back to Vienna, and he gets into tabloid journalism. It's cheap. It's easy to get into. He's a showman already, and he knows how to read people.
Knows how to tell a story.
Exactly. So he becomes a reporter for Der Blitz.
Oh, God.
And he would expose the sex lives of the country's most prominent citizens. And because he was such a great, talented manipulator and fraud himself, he could uncover the rosters at the venereal disease clinics.
Oh, my God.
And he'd go to the police headquarters and get all the recent narcotics and prostitution arrests. And he particularly loved outing Vienna's noted cross-dressers and homosexuals. Loved outing them.
Really?
Loved it. Probably, maybe it was one himself. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who's to say? But he loved doing that. And most of the money that this magazine would make would be from his work getting all this info and then dangling it in front of the
Blackmail.
Yes. The
The National Enquirer.
They were paid to not run stories.
Fuck.
So it was all these hey, we got this story about you, you catching the Sith.
Yeah. It was all these articles about who's not gay. Who's definitely not gay and never, ever could be because I've investigated extensively and haven't been paid off.
So that's what actually did happen is that
Didn't fuck me?
these places caught on to the blackmail and would eventually just pay them to run flattering stories. So he starts writing columns in Der Blitz under the pen name Faun, Faun, and they promote him to co-editor. And he starts writing semi-fictional columns and these exposés of Vienna's pleasure clubs and carnivals. And so they had this narrative aspect to the column. They weren't just a pure it wasn't pure journalism. He had these characters, Major Kitsch and his sidekick Erasmus Pancratius Broskopf.
Okay.
And so they would chase around the more shadowy parts of Vienna, visiting real-life locations these pleasure palaces, whore dens, carnivals, exposing their illegal or otherwise frowned-upon behavior. And that's when like people were reading like, hey, this place actually exists, and that actually did happen. We'll just pay them to like run better stories about us.
Yeah.
And so he was basically Major Kitch, and his assistant Leitner was Roscoff in these stories. And eventually, because people like caught on to what he was doing, they got arrested at one of these clubs by Viennese vice cops.
Really?
Yeah. At a pimp bar and brothel called the Phoenix Palast.
Wow.
Yep. And the owner was a woman, and she turned down their blackmail offer
Really?
and turned him over to the authorities. And they were arrested and booked and all that. I don't think very much happened, but they later retaliated by revealing some nasty secrets in the magazine about the local police commissioner.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, all right, well,
Here you go.
maybe it's true, maybe it's not.
You want to hear some shit?
This guy can read people's muscles. You know? He knows if you do you have. So he would do like muscle reading and stuff. Like I'm not getting into like all the details about
Muscle reading? Like Purple Aki?
No, that's muscle squeeze.
And measure.
Muscle reading. So I'm not getting into like all the tactics that these clairvoyants and mystics,
Charlatans.
charlatans,
Right.
frauds, seers, these people, the same sort of ilk as Victoria Woodhull.
Sure, yeah.
Muscle reading, I mean, it's still in like kind of the new agey community where, and it is a kind of a pseudoscience in that it kind of works where they'll have you put your arm out and they'll ask you questions and they'll like push down on your arm and they'll look at how your face, little imperceptible twitches and how your arm responds to the pressure of their arm, and then they just kind of do some guesswork.
Right.
And like for a talented practitioner like him, it was right enough.
Yes.
And that's how he would do.
Well, because you're getting to the truth of the individual, which is like, oh yeah, are you weird and tense when I say something that's not true?
Right.
And then you kind of loosen up when I unlock something that you're like, oh, that's totally true, but I don't really want to deal with it. And it's just this, seduction that happens where you're like, you're easy to read because you're asking to be read.
Absolutely. It's the whole mesmerism thing too. Like
Right.
the people that want to get convinced get convinced. The people that raise their hand, like who wants to come up, well, they're gonna get hypnotized.
Yeah.
So he did all
Get the job you ask for.
And you're giving so much more data when you're physically touching someone than if they're
Absolutely.
20 feet away in John Edwards' studio.
right, and they're just listening to you talk to the people online.
Yeah.
Like the guy was a real practitioner of a fake science.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's to be fair, he was good at what he did.
But it's also not that fake in the way of like, I mean, if you were like a stranger, I'm like, oh, this is this guy just like laying of hands or whatever, and you just like grab my shoulders and you're like, what are you like unhappy about? I'm like, the physical contact of somebody just being like, all right, we're here. What's going on? Now you're physically examining your problems with somebody like touching you and being like, what is your problem?
Yeah,
And you're like,
a beat of sweat, a twitch.
You're gonna go there.
Hard on.
You're gonna go there, and you're gonna be like,
Every time I mention kids, this cop gets a boner. Weird. I'm a psychic. You wouldn't get it.
especially if these kids are shredded. Forget about
My
it.
mouth's a psychic.
More about shredded kids later, but not in the way you
Nice.
think.
Oh.
So he publishes some nasty secrets about the police commissioner.
That's so funny.
The paper fires him. Crossed the line, apparently.
Yeah.
They probably cost him money. That's right.
Right around this time, his lover Betty had been diagnosed with incurable tuberculosis,
Oh, baby.
and he had heard about a new TB treatment in Berlin, radical treatment.
Was it a table?
Yeah, well, strap him to a table. They get rid of tuberculosis,
It was a T&B.
but you waste the table. So, how much does it cost? A table, an arm and a leg, four legs.
How much is your table?
So he drops her off at Berlin's charity ward while he pursues new career opportunities. He sees an ad in a newspaper for a singing waiter.
Good Christ!
He can't sing.
Can't sing, which we proved on the boat, right?
Right.
He had 5 days to come up with an elaborate ruse to avoid singing in the.
I mean, this is so emblematic of how insane society was, where somebody's going, listen, you can bring food to the tables, but you gotta sing, bro. If you can't sing, I can get anybody to bring the pork chops from the kitchen to the table, but are you singing or not? Because Everybody here is on laudanum. Hammered.
And they need constant singing to stay awake.
This is the thing we're doing now because everybody's poisoned and out of their mind.
Any restaurant could have stroganoff.
A singing waiter. Okay.
Yeah, you can read the menu,
Yeah.
but can you sing it?
No, he already faked being a singer once.
Right.
Totally
So
worked
he's like,
out.
Great. I've never
See part one,
I've
people.
never waited tables, but I can fake singing. So he shows up, he bluffs his way past 40 other applicants and gets straight to the owner's office.
Hey, someone's looking for you out there.
Hey, the king. The owner shows up with him already in his office, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here." Wait in line like the rest of these losers, right?
Get out of here. What the fuck are you doing?
Harry threatens him with blackmail because he rifled through his shit.
You suck cock, dude. You know you do.
I'm psyched. So, because that's all he knows how to do is, right? So he blackmails the guy. And because he knows that the place doesn't have a liquor license. So he says,
What?
I'll just get you shut down because I know you don't have a liquor license.
He had a calendar that said, "Get liquor license."
The owner goes, "How did you know?" And Harry goes, "Because I'm a clairvoyant. I know everything." Guy hires him on the spot,
Whoa.
gives him a shirt and a sash. "You're now Ivan, and you're a singing waiter."
He can't sing.
Nah, but the guy doesn't have a liquor license.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Jump on a table.
Also, he's a
Quit.
clairvoyant who looks through all of your information
Yeah.
first.
Dude, you're a clairvoyant, and the best you can do is
You don't even
wait
look-
tables at my fucking restaurant.
Some clairvoyant.
Like, what? Like, the scam is so
Yeah.
lame.
Yeah.
It's like, I just need a modicum of income, dude.
Sorry. It's tough out there. I'm a clairvoyant about really petty shit. Mainly bureaucratic measures, liquor licenses, health code violations. It's a real drag being this kind of psychic.
Mostly what I see coming in the future is me slumming it, to be honest.
Just trying to improve my lot in life, bro. Ivan, is that my name?
All right, I'm in.
Ivan.
He'd visit Betty in the TB ward and practice the latest tricks he was learning because he'd buy magic books and he was trying to
Are they working on
That was
this
before
again?
YouTube.
Yeah.
You bought a book on fucking muscle
Yeah, you
reading.
talked to a guy who knew how to do it. Yeah, that's what.
So he's just poking around on her and being like,
trying to cheer her up too, but
"Dude, I got
she's
your clit, right? Ooh,
Ooh.
this is your clit.
Oh, I actually got it. Shit.
Oh, shit.
You are dying.
Put this in.
Sir?
Hey, where's my thumb?
She was definitely getting worse. Her eyes were bugging out. And her lips. She was fucked up. She was not getting better. The Berlin treatment was not working.
Not working. And his bullshit wasn't no.
Dude, his life sucks.
Now I got no clit.
I can't even diddle my paralyzed girlfriend.
I got a fucking thumb where my clit is, like an
and I
idiot.
clit where my thumb is. Can you believe? You wouldn't believe how hard hitchhiking is.
Or easy.
I'm sucking my thumb like crazy.
Thank you.
So he gets fired because he can't sing.
Of course. What is he
And-
going on with a scarf on his throat again?
There's snakes. There's snakes.
I hope
somewhere.
a couple of Italians come in here and try to scams.
Does anybody know any Italian? So he applies as a stage magician at these North Berlin clubs. So North Berlin is Bridge and Tunnel crowd, right? So
Oh,
it's
hell
not-
yeah.
So it's
Jersey, Long Island.
Yeah, exactly. So I gotta go in the boonies a little bit so I can cut my teeth.
Yeah.
And he's so bad.
At singing?
Magician.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Because he's been practicing his tricks on his tubercular
Yeah,
girlfriend. And
she
she's
can't
like,
even clap.
Yeah, she's barely there.
yeah. And she's like, what, is it me?
Ooh, tough crowd.
So he's so bad, he's dropping eggs and
Oh, for
fumbling
Christ,
his
you can't
leg.
drop eggs.
He's so bad that they can't get enough of it.
No, Cherry Sister style.
They
beautiful.
love it.
No.
He's comically bad.
Charlie Chaplin, because he's doing that Charlie Chaplin type.
Doing the tramp thing, but at this point, it's not totally. He
Right,
just,
exactly,
he
he's just bad at
is
it.
really
I
bad,
really
and
am
he's
truly bad.
broke, and he's desperate, and his girlfriend's dying. Things are just so shitty that he's slumming it as a fucking bridge and tunnel magician in a basement club. Wow, it's bad. the tavern owner never heard like his miserable fucking shithole so like loud and filled with laughter that he was given a 2-week contract. He's like, all right, you get 2 weeks, kid.
Yeah.
It was not renewed after
People
2 weeks.
down here are miserable.
You know, this used to be a crypt.
Yeah.
Even failure's fun.
Good God.
So
it was not renewed after 2 weeks.
right. So this is a little like a pattern for him. This happens where he just goes from like club to club on these short little contracts because he can't like keep the shit up. He's not any good.
Right. You got the little bit of charm to get you by, and you know that it's about 10 days.
Exactly. A paycheck, right?
Yeah.
Like he's really going from paycheck to paycheck
Fuck.
as a shitty magician. Like not even traveling.
Ain't that a
yet.
motherfucker, man?
It's fucking depressing when you read it. So
Yeah. When you're
girlfriend's
in
still
LA
don't, like,
trying to do comedy.
and
So you're like, ooh,
I'll film it. I'll take it.
this just got real.
well, this guy started the equivalent of a podcast, a tabloid magazine.
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyways, check out Profiles in Eccentricity.
We have a Patreon.
So another night, another out of the way bar, and he's doing this. It's just another disastrous show. And like the thing with like magic is a lot of it's like crowd participation. So it's not like being a musician or even a stand-up comic. Like magician is like, all right, I need somebody to do that, and like that is just another crazy variable to allow into
Yeah.
your act. Like the guy
Total
could be a
minefield. Total minefield.
nightmare. Like,
What do I do now?
are you Jewish?
Yeah.
Just nightmare.
Yeah.
So he had this like card guessing trick that was dependent on the crowd, like getting somebody from the crowd, and then also like the placement of a mirror on the stage so that he could like turn around and still see it.
Uh-huh.
He's stealthily putting a mirror on stage.
Well, it's just there before the scene on the setup,
Yeah.
but it got fucked up, and so
It's foggy.
the act just like fucking.
He's like, what card do you got? I have no
I don't-
idea.
you tell me.
Tell me.
Is this your card?
Yeah.
I don't know. So it just like he bombs and he's just like flop sweat, panic, like just and he just. Did you ever see that movie Equilibrium with Christian Bale and Taye Diggs?
No.
Oh, great movie.
Okay.
Not really. Maybe I'll explain it to you
All right.
one day. But there's this moment where he's just like he's attached to this fucking machine and it's like
Bale.
it's a polygraph thing. And it's just like, oh fuck, beep, and that's when he just snaps. This is what happens here. So
He loses it.
He fucking loses it at the crowd. Loses his shit. So all he sees as he is panicking that he can't see the card, right? Literally can't see the card. In his mind, he just sees his like fucking chick in the bed, dying,
Bridge and tunnel vision.
dying of tuberculosis, like fucking
What, she's
pale,
spasming like
she's
that.
pale face, blood,
Aaron, if
blood.
you're listening, Aaron is doing cross-eyed spasm.
He's a clairvoyant.
You need to see it on YouTube. But Aaron's going, oh, he's imagining.
He sees like blood trickling from her mouth and trying to stand up, and she just like collapses on her bloodstained mattress.
Where's my clit? Where's my clit?
And he fucking just like turns around and goes, "You with the cigarette, you've got consumption and you're slowly infecting your girlfriend sharing your beer glass. Your father was a drunk, your mother was a prostitute. On top of that, you're about to get fired for embezzlement."
No!
He looked at another table and shouted at a woman. He said, "Time to put down your drink and return to your hovel. Give up on your dreams of winning the lottery and go pray. Your pregnant daughter is wandering the dimly lit streets of Friedrichstadt at this very moment." Then he turns to an elderly man and his wife and he goes, "Hey, I admit your husband consulted a gypsy that very afternoon and was wondering when the old broad would die." He grabbed the tarot deck, ripped it up, threw it everywhere. He was fired on the spot and the owner punched him in the stomach.
He punched him in the stomach.
What about my meal? I need to see a meal.
I was promised dinner.
I was fired and punched in the
A stomach punch is so humiliating.
That's so fucking funny. He punched him in the stomach. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god.
He goes straight to the
Your
hospital.
husband's trying to fuck anybody but you. He's praying for your death. This dude's gay.
How do I know? Taste my dick.
Yeah.
He goes straight to the hospital, and Betty.
He goes straight to the hospital with a punched stomach.
No,
Oh, for the Betty.
Look at that vision.
and
yeah.
she was dead.
No.
She was dead. She had died.
So he freaked out at the moment she died.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is maybe kind of a fucking
Maybe?
clairvoyant.
Or yeah, or shit.
Is he a scumbag? Is he a charlatan?
Clock was ticking.
Yeah.
Vaccines, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He stole her clip.
Use him.
It's because he
stole
stole
it,
her clip.
took it away.
Her life force. Mojo.
Yeah.
That's how I stay young. He started to believe his own bullshit a little bit. That's like
yeah.
the beginning of it. He later starts really believing it, but this is when like he's like, well, maybe. Huh?
Oh, later on, he's got necklaces around his neck.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah, but also like the most traumatic thing of his week probably.
rock bottom.
So then he thinks of the one thing that could be worse than it. You know, just it's a series of mental.
That is really good, though. That's really good stuff.
Just a gut punch. Just
Yeah.
you're fired. Fuck.
Yeah.
Shit.
Get back to the
Let
club
me go
the next
consult
day.
my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Fuck.
You're like, listen, I know I freaked out last night, but the thing is, I'm clairvoyant. My girlfriend died.
Check it out.
And,
Can I have my mirror back? I left it.
I was looking at my asshole in the mirror today. Blew my fucking mind. Really.
That's so stupid, John.
I had to fucking do that to you.
So then this kind of like rock bottom thing kind of emboldens him to like maybe I can get better at
does,
this,
yeah.
right?
It does.
And this another kind of like traveling clairvoyant magician guy named Rabini comes into town.
Oh, Rabini's in
Yeah,
town?
another fucking Italian guy.
Yeah.
Not even Italian, just got they all have names.
Yeah.
Rabini comes into town and like he calls Erik, Jan Hanussen, aka Alois Barrel, aka Hirschman Steinschneider. He like kind of like does a call out to Rabini and he's like, "Yeah, I'm better than you. You suck."
Whoa.
Yeah, this is fake. This is bullshit. And
He calls out Rabini.
yeah,
Steinschneider.
yes. This, I mean, some time has passed. He did some training like Rocky. There's a training montage.
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Yeah. He's lifting logs.
Yeah, went to Russia,
exactly,
yeah.
beating fucking a dead cow. I don't know.
Yeah, doing chop, drinking coffee.
That's the clairvoyant Rocky.
That's how you get better. That's exactly right.
I think that's right. I need a lot of stimulants in my system.
I can think of
Catch my
anything. I
drift.
can think of anything.
This motherfucker's not even Italian. He's over here talking about.
So he enters into a contest with Rabini. Like a lot of these are like, all right, you got to find
Like a jerk off.
Yeah.
a jerk off. Who can find like the most hidden needles in the room or whatever? Like, you know, a lot of it was like a pin in a woman's hair. And,
Oh
like,
yeah.
There's all they have the
Who
short.
can count the beans in the jar best? It's an autism off.
That's exactly right. No, there's a spectrum of tricks. And he beats Rabini in like a public contest.
How the fuck do you even hype that up? Like, who's
Dude, everything was pamphlets and posters.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean, also that is a sick show. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's a great
It's like
show.
I'm a maniac, he's a maniac. We both do insane shit. We're gonna show you who's better.
Exactly. So
That show is.
that's why Rabini agreed to it.
It's not even. I mean, why is that not even a thing now? That's like the most insane show anybody's ever heard of.
Yes.
Well, it's because back then there were people who were like, I'm a woodworker. I will see insane shit. Now it's like,
Yeah.
I'm a computer programmer. I'm not going to see a magician.
Well, I don't read.
Yeah.
So-
Well, yeah, now
I don't
it's
read,
now
yeah.
it's just looking at Pornhub with titles like Tinder date idea, fuck her ass on a mountaintop.
Yeah.
What? Rabini's not gonna get.
No, you can't beat
No,
that.
you can't.
Wow.
That's another episode I want to do on Patreon is porn
Titles.
That's
The
very
titles,
good,
the
yeah.
titles
the
I've been
titles are
seeing
so
have been
good.
out
I
of
probably
hand.
The titles are very.
Tinder date idea, fuck her ass on a mountaintop.
Yeah, we could go. Yeah, I can Japanese titles too. It's fucking
Yeah.
madness.
Don't. John doesn't.
Oh, sorry.
No, I
You're
don't
not
like
allowed
that
to. Yeah.
Well, I am a total chaos, and I am the greatest pervert.
Yeah, it is correct.
Well, it comes with flags.
And as a hot-bodied cum god, I recognize your station.
Thank you.
He then built a palmograph, which was like a mechanized muscle reading machine.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a
God.
polygraph. It's like a Rube Goldberg machine. The thing touches your arm and then it hits the scale and it tells like, oh, okay, you
No, your muscles are
Bullshit.
moving.
the card's in your back pocket type of shit.
Put your hand in this. Yeah, okay.
Just such charlatanry, but
Yeah.
industrious and very creative, and like it worked for him.
Yeah, the adding of extra steps to confuse you that
yes.
something is
More
very
steps, the
simple.
better.
The more steps, the better.
Because it's all these like
more places to get lost.
finding the hidden thing in the room is all just like the muscle reading and odds and just code words.
Right.
Like, oh, okay, if they use the word then it's in somebody's lapel. And
Interesting.
in the book called Erik Jan Hanussen, Hitler's Jewish Clairvoyant by Mel Gordon,
Great title.
where I got
all you
pretty
need.
much everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of images of his code and common codes of the time that these stage magicians would use. And,
Yeah.
a lot of like the promotional materials and some pictures and stuff like that.
I mean, a lot of magic is
Keep it common tricks that everybody knows. They just keep a secret.
right, and but it's keeping the audience looking at thinking about everything but
The
what
thing
they
you're doing.
need to look at until you have it finished
yeah,
in
totally,
time to present it.
That's exactly right. Misdirection.
But it is hard to do.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
And you got to be funny,
Yeah.
especially now.
Yeah.
You gotta give it up. Shout out to magicians
Yeah.
in the world. Don't put a hex on me.
Yikes.
Then so he starts traveling a little bit more. Just goes on the road, right, like a comic. He stops in his hometown of Prosnitz. Remember that
Yeah.
little out of the way place, where he, as I promised, successfully exorcised a deranged milkmaid who babbled in unintelligible dialects and was plagued by recurring nightmarish visions of the Virgin Mary.
Really?
He just hypnotized her, and she snapped out of it. He was surprised at how easy it was.
No.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't believe how easy it was. I surprised myself. People still get hypnotized all the fucking
And
time.
she was like, I'm sorry about that, you guys.
My bad.
Turns out my clit was just hyperactive. And he just had to take it
Turns
off.
out my clip was the thumb the whole time.
And now he has his thumb back.
I was so deranged.
Yeah.
He was like, good thing I've got this spare clit. Took it from my dead girlfriend.
I'm over here twiddling my thumbs.
She never came. Low mileage.
UTB now.
Just like new. Such a good deal. According to his diary, he met Sigmund Freud, and he praised him about his hypnosis skills.
Freud did?
Yeah, oh, you're such a
Sure,
good,
yeah,
so
what a
good at
total-
hypnotism.
That doesn't sound
Probably bullshit.
Hey, Freud, I bet you want to suck your dad's dick, don't you?
Write that down. I came up with that whole idea.
right. I do like the idea of a diary where you write fake things into it.
Oh, everybody has a diary back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Remember
all-
that?
that is primary account for most of history.
Yeah.
That's all you. Well,
They
everyone's
love
got
the
it.
diaries.
Instagram is that now, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But a diary was supposed to be slightly more private. Instagram is you're bragging to other people in the moment. A diary is something
just for
like
you and
some sort
God.
of reflection of some
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it was intimate and not shared with anyone. So
But some people really did also write diaries, hoping,
Right,
knowing
yeah,
that
yeah.
one day
yeah,
people
sure, yeah.
Hey, I mean, it is
Yeah.
accounting of your life. You
jerk
want it
my
to matter
huge
at
cock
some point.
again today. Oh man.
And Lister.
I really suck.
My
I really
son-
got to stop beating the shit out of my huge cock all the time. It's
One
gonna
day
be a real pain in the ass.
I think my July 12th. I think my dick is bigger than it used to be.
Sorry, I didn't. July 14th. Sorry, I skipped yesterday. I came so much I passed out.
Yeah, man, I thought beating up my dick was a pain in the ass before I fucked myself in my own ass with my huge cock, like a psycho.
Good thing nobody's ever gonna read this.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Here's a picture so I can remember.
From my cock to God's mouth.
I mean, Ann Lister did write down all her orgasms.
Yeah, it took up half a page.
This one was like, whoa.
I can't write straight. My eyes are still in the back of my head.
she just dabbed her pussy in ink and squatted on the page, and that's where they got her Rorschach test from.
If I could draw an accurate depiction of the type of mongoloid I turned into while having this orgasm, I would.
But I can't. I'm all thumbs.
I'm on clits.
I mean, clits.
My hands are busy.
People are tired. My weakness is men.
I mean, this is man. I'm sorry.
1914, Archduke Ferdinand is assassinated by the Black Hand.
Shit.
Wait, how many thumbs on that?
Oh, dude, they were all clips. Very supple wrist. So World War I breaks out. He's conscripted into the Austro-Hungarian 54th Infantry Regiment.
Fuck.
And he would kind of like learning from his shitty time as that shitty magician where the crowd kind of loved it. he played the part of a willing and obedient soldier, but would like purposely fuck everything up.
Gomer Pyle.
Yeah.
He Gomer Piled it.
Yeah.
I thought I put the artillery in the cannon.
I'll clip those.
The bullets are pointed backwards.
Sorry,
My
guys.
bad.
So, yeah, this is how he.
You did a couple of own goals because I loaded the bullets wrong. I'm so sorry, Sergeant Commander.
Better not give me any more responsibilities.
You shouldn't send me home. I would hate it.
They put me in the mess hall, but I pooped in the soup.
A can's a can.
Dude, that is genius.
Of course he did.
Now,
So they assigned him to latrine
But
duty.
also, like, think about that, right? That's a guy that became famous for other shit other than being a hero. And he's like, let me tell you what I did. I fucked up around because I knew this is not my gimmick. This is not my gig.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My gig is about, it's Littlefinger. I'm gonna fuck them.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna win their way. I'm gonna fuck them, right? I'm this other guy. I'm not that type of guy. So let me tell you what I did when I had to play by their rules. I fucked it up so substantially
That they just said, "Get the fuck
They're like,
out of here."
Will you please get the fuck out of my face, you fucking jerk off?
Go clean the toilets.
Yeah.
Right, if you run away, they kill you. But if you just sit around and fuck shit up, then...
Oh, dude, yeah, like, getting lost is sometimes your best asset.
Sorry, did I miss the battle already?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was cleaning the shitter.
Yeah, if you're the middle management there, you're like, you know what make my life so much easier is if that guy was just doing anything but being around me. Anything.
Yeah, sometimes your
anything.
incompetence can save your life.
Yeah.
Think about how many people, though, in those times, in those wars, that was their thing.
With forced conscription, especially where you're drafted.
Yeah.
right?
Oh, you're drafted. And you're just like,
Like, how did any wars get won?
yeah. I actually chambered my dick in the gun.
Come undone. I accidentally.
I'm shooting blanks.
You're not going to believe this.
Yeah.
But
You want to know where the
I stuck
pin
my
for that
dick in the
grenade
barrel.
is? I don't want to tell you now.
Let's just leave it here.
Yeah, let's
Don't touch that grenade.
leave it a mystery.
Let me just say, don't feed me any beans. Beans. Fart jokes and beans.
Beans.
So he was careless and he was he still had a, even though they didn't give as much responsibility, he still had a fight in the fucking trenches in World War I.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
But he was still careless and carefree. He was still like kind of, the trickster joker guy. He just couldn't help it.
Yeah, the currency is charisma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the medium is rumor.
The medium is rumor, the currency is charisma.
He was wounded several times in the trenches, and he was sent to the military hospital a bunch, and like he kind of cheered everybody up there. Like everybody really liked him, kind of being like the Patch Adams of the military hospital.
Shitty magician, yeah.
Hey, you want to know who in your family's sucking dick? I got it right. Let me hold. Let me
think of everyone. Your whole family's cocksuckers. I love you guys.
I need to do a muscle reading. Let me hold your balls. It turns out you're gay as fuck, pal. Oh, is this
You
a dude's
gotta-
hands on your balls? You psycho.
I can read your muscle. The trick is it's in your ass. So he did evenings of, sketches, comedic sketches, magic tricks, lice races.
No.
Oh, there's so much lice back then.
Oh,
How can
dude,
you
so
not?
much gambling.
My lice. Oh, I got the best lice in the fucking Austro-Hungarian front. And he also called bingo.
Aw.
Where's the superior lice?
The master lice.
The master lice.
Wunderlice.
The wunderlice. You're simple, regular lice. Boring. I'm so sorry. You're skank. And I'm just an uber lice.
It's
Sorry.
your Latin lice.
It's your lot in lice. Very fucking good, Aaron.
In 1915, he had seen enough.
I've just had it with this World War.
Not one more bingo game.
If there's another one of these, I'm gonna lose my shit. He fakes having shell shock. So they send him back to the military hospital, and he's like, and like they do all the tests, and he doesn't have shell shock. Like, dude, you've been in the hospital more than you've been on the front lines. You don't.
Yeah.
I think
We've
you're
done a lot of tests, and you've been coming this whole time.
Dude, where did you put that grenade?
Boom.
I'll never tell. Boom.
Then he had to so then they release him from the hospital because they're like, you're fine, ship out. And he has to, because he's still incompetent, they're not gonna put him in battle, so he has to lead these burial squads where it's just thousands of dead bodies that need to be taken off the lines
Identified.
And marked. God. And so he just sees thousands, and these bodies are putrefying. They've been out there forever.
There's no good system.
There's train. There's barely trains.
No good system
No.
for mayhem.
No one goes into war going, well, what are we going to do with the bodies?
Yeah, there's the Brits emailing Germany being like, hey, what do we do? Have we set up a system yet for identifying the maelstrom of hell we're unleashing up on the world?
They don't even know how they're going to die when the war starts.
No, they have no idea what's coming. Von Hindenburg's wonder weapon, Big Bertha, was unleashed on this front that he was in, and he had to ID and catalog 60,000 fucking bodies.
No.
Yeah.
Which also
God.
means is the safest job.
Oh yeah, because they moved on. They killed him. They're not
can't
gonna.
But also when you're clairvoyant, it's so easy to identify everyone.
Well, this is where he gets
Cocksucker.
practice at just
Cocksucker.
making up names.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's arms and legs that you got to piece.
Oh, yeah.
I
Here
think
lies Jimmy Big Dick.
Yeah, it was gay.
Was gay as fuck.
had lice.
Loved it. Had lice. Loved every minute of it. Died bravely at the front.
Went out crying like a little bitch.
Six pack on his shaft. I've never seen the likes of which. This is Jimmy Likes a Witch.
This is his pal Billy Loves the Cock. Then he befriends a Russian POW.
Big mistake. I don't know.
And so he sees because he's done with the burial shift. Now he's kind of military police type of stuff.
Yeah.
You're too incompetent.
Get him bury a body.
So he sees firsthand the slave-like conditions that they're keeping these people in.
Yeah.
And he decides for a Christmas treat, he's gonna put on a show and raise money to help feed POWs.
No.
Yeah.
Russian POWs.
Yeah, Russian POWs.
So he's going to put on a show.
And it's for Christmas, and this guy's Jewish.
for Christmas.
These guys, he couldn't help but feel for them.
Right.
And
so he puts his dick and balls between his legs.
and he tucks it.
Tucks it, and he dances. He's like, I'm a girl. I'm a little naughty bitch. I got my little tidbits.
Rub the lotion.
Here I go.
on me.
It's Christmas time.
Fuck me. I
you
live
won't-
on cum.
I dare you.
I'm a naughty little.
I'm just a naughty
I'm a
little...
soft buddy cum god.
I'm a soft buddy cum elf. I don't understand English.
He's got a little rosy cheek. He grease paints his cheeks up.
Yeah, that wasn't
So he
grease.
raises millions.
He hooks his way to ending World War I.
All right, so what's the show? Tell me for real.
So, it's just fucking dumb shit.
Other fucked up magic
Yeah,
tricks
yeah,
and
yeah.
broken eggs?
Yeah, just dumb shit. His
we
his
could be eating those
captain,
eggs.
his captain was fond of him. Because
Charisma is currency.
he taught him how to play tennis, do photography, and breed rabbits.
Tennis, breeding rabbits in the trenches?
Meanwhile, there's mayhem all around. Yes, I know it smells like shit. You've got trench foot, but your forehand is your wrists are not supple.
Right.
These rabbits, you can't even get these rabbits to fuck.
That mound of bodies will serve as what we'd call a net.
Is this clay? No, it's manure.
Foul. It smells foul. So the show was just more like the kind of clairvoyance thing and the hidden objects
You
thing.
will die. You will die.
He uncovered hidden objects, and then he predicted that his CO's wife would have a son.
What a good
And
idea.
the performance was a big success.
If it works, that's brilliant.
It raised some money for these POWs to have like a Christmas gruel or whatever.
Yeah.
And then 5 days later, the CEO's wife gave birth to a baby.
No. Dude.
So his CEO gives him 100 gold kroner, promotes him to Lance Corporal.
Of course, yes.
I mean, that's like a no-lose clairvoyancy.
Yeah.
Same rank Hitler attained in World War One.
No.
What did he ever do?
He split that.
Artist.
He split that 100 gold kroner with his pal who worked in the mail office, who slipped him the postcard 5 days earlier.
Yeah!
I think you're gonna have a kid.
You're going to have a son. The guy starts jacking it big time.
Oh yeah, I love it.
I love a male heir.
Let me put some in the air.
They don't get pregnant.
Put it in the air.
I got your mail there. Right
I hope
here.
he's shredded with a huge cock.
He was reassigned to a machine gun unit in the 13th Regiment. He was wounded in the leg and sent off to Krakow as a railroad guard and military policeman.
Really?
1917, he people started to kind of like get what this guy's thing was, right? So
He's fucking around. He's a little fucker.
at the request of the Austrian army, he conducts telepathic experiments at the nerve clinic, and like he studied like Max Osterman, who's pretty famous in that whole fucking Charlotte community. He was actually pretty respected, if you want to say parapsychologist, but like a real psychologist at a real hospital, and he impressed him with his abilities. Then he goes AWOL. Like 1916, kind of like there's no record and shit of him. He kind of
Yeah, he's been there. He's done that.
It's like, I'm done with World War One. Get back to me when there's a third one.
Yeah.
He kind of disappears. He goes AWOL. He meets up with this guy Joseph Pepe Kohler, who's like a real traveling performer, like legit, and he impresses him with his skill. And the guy's like, "Yeah, I'll have you open for me, or I'll have you like be a part of my show." I think this is in Berlin, and I'm sorry, it's in Vienna. This is in Vienna.
So he impresses him with his mind reading skills.
Yes, mind reading skills, the muscle reading, just like, a lot. The currency is charisma.
The currency is charisma.
He could just sell it.
There's a lot of bullshit. There's just like one of those things where like, the longer you continually make eye contact, the more people believe, oh, you have nothing to hide.
Yep.
And it's like,
eye contact is one of the most like powerful fucking things in the world. Like, it was one thing that I
during
learned.
a blowjob, guy like you,
Dude,
hey lady,
all
what
my
are you
victims have
staring at?
blindfolds on.
It's a magic show.
And also, like, if you're in World War One, you're gonna get pretty good at whatever it takes to get the fuck out of there.
Right.
Yeah.
It is a absolute.
I put my stool in the cannon.
And by stool, I mean shit. Whoops.
I'm sorry. Was that wrong?
I took
Are
a
these? I thought these would be the nastiest munitions we have.
Could you imagine raining shit on our enemy, sir?
Pokes himself in the eye, saluting.
Oops, I gotta go to the military hospital again.
I got pink eye.
I was loading the shit in.
I
the
was
barrel.
loading the munitions.
Should I use my dick again next time? Better find a big gun. So the guy's like, yo, but you.
but you know.
Dude, I'll let you perform in Vienna with me, homie, but
But you a bitch, right?
you are a bitch, and you're AWOL. And I can't have Heinrich Steinschneider, Lance Corporal of the Austro-Hungarian 13th Machine Gun Regiment,
Disgraced AWOL fucking
performing for Vienna's finest.
Yeah.
You need to come up with a new name. And he's
Can't
like,
even
oh,
sing.
dude, I came up with 60,000
Yeah.
names of all these fucking dead idiots.
Yeah.
So he becomes Erik Jan Hanussen from Denmark,
Yes.
not the Jew from Prosenitz.
Sure, yeah, I'm fucking Billy Likes of Which.
Exactly.
I don't even...
Billy Likes of which?
Billy
I've never
Likes
even
of
seen.
Which.
Wait, that's my son.
Also, it's like a celebration of Danish neutral Danish culture. So like that way he's apolitical.
Yes, it's
brilliant.
apolitical. That was the first
I'm just
thing
I'm just a magician.
I thought when I saw that name, I was like, why is he reaching for this level of like Nordic neutrality in his name? And it's because
he does not look Nordic.
Well, nobody has a problem with it.
Exactly.
It's like
Well, that's his name. Why would he lie?
yeah.
His name's his name. and he's clearly apolitical.
That sounds like a name.
So this would be the last time that Hermann Steinschneider, aka Heinrich Steinschneider, aka Harry Steinschneider, aka Mr. Clap Clap, aka Nelly Fink, aka Ivan the Singing Waiter, aka Alois Barrel, aka Tito Rufo, aka Fawn, would change his name
To Erik Jan Hanussen.
Actually, he'd change it one more time. He'd change it to spelling with Erik with a K to seem even more Nordic.
Yeah.
So
Who
Erik,
is Mr. Clap Clap?
oh, that's just another one of his.
That was one of his
I think
magician
he's in
type
gay
things?
porn
Okay.
in 1916.
I've got the disease.
I'll never
You could
tell.
suck it out of me.
You got the symptoms, I got the disease.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
It's really great.
You like that shit? You like
I like
that
it a
shit?
lot.
You got the herpes, I got the cream. Not you, but
No,
these,
I'm a man.
These ladies.
It's herpes.
They're herpes. Not his
It's
peas.
history.
It must be out of my mind. They are herpes.
3,000 of Vienna's finest show up in like horse-drawn carriages, like straight up out of like Cinderella and shit.
What?
Sold out theater in Vienna. 3,000 people
Wow.
sold out because they like when he should like, oh man, this crazy Danish magician is gonna show up. We don't know. They don't know shit from China. You believe whatever you see
China, yeah,
on
yeah.
a fucking poster in the city. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, yeah.
And the posters of this guy, I'll post.
Oh,
he
yeah,
looks
yeah,
like
yeah.
a fucking madman.
Yeah.
Like, this guy, the psychic magician clairvoyant.
Oh, yeah.
From neutral Denmark.
Yeah, he's like,
sign us up.
I don't even know what I'm up to anymore.
Exactly.
You see pictures of me, there's shadows on my face. I look insane.
The mystique
I
was
might
such a draw.
raise Frankenstein's monster.
Archduke Leopold Salvador was there. Archduchess Bianca, Archduke Eugene, and the Supreme Army Commander Archduke Friedrich all showed up to this performance. It was the biggest show of his life up until that point. Obviously, before he was like in fucking medical wards and like dingy basement taverns. And he's
No spoilers.
yes, he was performing now for royalty while he's AWOL
Yeah.
under their command.
Yeah.
Like he's serving that royalty in the military, but he's currently absent without leave.
Fake it till you make it, right? That's the deal.
Incredible. I mean, what?
Yeah.
Imagine
And-
deserting your post in the military and going to perform
that you got
magic for the president.
undeservedly promoted in.
Yeah,
You were faking it till you made it, and then you fucked it up.
and by committing postal fraud.
And now you're faking it like maybe beyond that post. Like that's fucking ridiculous.
That is, man, that's how bad you don't want to be in a war. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, he deserted his post. That is.
It's a severe bummer.
That's a big. I think they call it a no-no. They poo-poo it very
Yeah.
heavily.
Yes, they've
They've poo-pooed it.
They've moved me over to the machine gun unit. I was shot. It was a nightmare. Nobody cared that I was charismatic. It's basically just bloodshed every minute.
It smells like
Right.
dead bodies.
I'm not going to do any good here.
Yeah.
My talents lie elsewhere.
My talents lie in lying.
Yeah. I mean, making the Archduke happy.
So this show, you know, he recognized the importance of this show. Like this is that, you know, fucking Eminem, you only got one shot. This is your 8 Mile moment, right? You're performing for royalty while you're, again, absent without leave from the military. You snuck away from your post to go
Right.
do magic on
Yeah.
stage. Hoping for what? I mean, what's the best case scenario that comes out of it? Who knows? But he saw the audience as an adversary in this moment, and he saw it like a lion to be tamed. And how do you tame the lion?
Take
Well,
your
you
clothes off.
jack it
You
off.
make it come.
Yeah. So he
So-
figured the prostate of the Archduke.
Oh, dude, he made the audience come so hard.
Did he?
Yeah. All of them.
With good magic or with deliberately bad
No,
magic?
with good magic. I'm going to tell you some of the things he did.
What he done?
Um,
what dirty things you did?
So he did like a dowsing, like divining rod, where he would find stuff in the audience. he
Who's that?
Feinstein. Who'd Feinstein?
Oh, there's a cup of water over here.
What's that? Your wife's vibrator, you savage.
I've got your wife's clip right here. He did. He found 4 concealed needles. It's all these needles,
Needles,
because you hide them.
A lot of haste.
Everyone was on heroin.
He started with haystacks, remember?
A display of second sight. He did like the telepathic pose. He did all these, I think it's in your left pocket, that type of shit, and like in getting people to interact on stage. One of them was like a kind of like not an improv game, but like, all right, we're gonna reenact this kind of like murder mystery thing.
Yeah.
And we're going to figure out who did it. And you're all going to play a part type of thing. So we got the crowd involved in all that shit. And they, like, standing ovation. They went nuts. People were fainting in the audience.
No.
Yeah.
These idiots.
He met the royalty afterwards. They invited him to meet the Archduke, the Archduchess, all the fucking Supreme Field Commander.
Yeah.
He spent so much time with them that the cops were looking for them. They were like, "Where are they?" And they're talking to the fucking magician.
They're with the Dutchman.
Yeah, as soon as we get our clits back, we're back.
Never giving it up again.
Never gonna give.
So the local newspapers like wrote about it. He was front page news for like a week while he was in Vienna. And he went. He's like eating breakfast at like a cafe the next morning, right? And people are just like staring at him. He's like, "Oh, what the fuck? Do they know that? Like, I'm fucking on the run."
They know I'm a jerk off. Yeah.
And they're like,
you're a famous celebrity.
magician. And like people came up to like get his autograph and shit, and he still hadn't even decided how to like spell his name. He didn't know how to sign it yet.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to give the autograph of the name he just made up.
I don't know. I have so many names. So.
Just clap.
Yeah. Clap, clap. Maybe you, bro.
So he had been officially MIA for 11 days by this point, and he gets on the train back to Krakow. And
No.
Wow. Okay.
Yes,
He goes back to the military?
That's exactly right.
After killing at Magic
Yeah.
and meeting the royalty,
Yes.
he heads back
Yes.
to the fucking military being
Yes.
like, I'm really sorry I had to meet the fucking Archduchess.
Sorry, I had to meet your boss's boss.
Yeah.
So he tells Pepe, he's like, "Yo, I'm going back, but I need you to put in a good word for me with the fucking royalty to get me out of here. Like, I need you to like, because you know what happens to deserters."
And Pepe's like,
I got this, bro.
dude, Pepe.
But Pepe's like, dude.
Pepe loves him.
Yeah, he sold out the fucking show.
The currency is charisma.
So,
Pepe loves him. He disappears for 11 days. Pepe doesn't hate him for doing that.
No. For going back?
No. For fucking going MIA for 11 days.
No, he
No,
fucking made the show.
Pepe. No, he's MIA from the military for 11 days.
Oh, Pepe's not in the military.
No, Pepe's just-
Pepe's the one that he's
meets him in-
opening.
yeah,
et cetera.
exactly.
Yeah, okay. So who does he have in the military that is not fucking crucifying him for being gone that long?
Pretty much nobody.
So he's just duping them into
other
being
than like his CEO that he told he was gonna have a baby, and
he just comes back and he's like, listen, I'm a big fucking deal now.
he goes back and Pepe promises to like, petition the Archduke to like
Put a good word. Yeah.
get him released from the military.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And the Archduke is like, I don't know if I can do that. I have supreme power. But, like, I don't know, but I can.
Really busy Tuesday.
I can say that I'm excited to see him again in another show. So he gets back to Krakow and like his boss reads the report that like what happened. He's like, all right, we're not gonna like send you to a military tribunal or anything, but you're back on the normal duty. Like, you came back. Props for coming back. And
Yeah, we need all the help
good,
we can get.
Yeah, you're not good at anything else. We got dead bodies everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, start cleaning up.
I mean, you can't go.
Honestly, I didn't even know you were gone.
Yeah, everything was working properly. We made tremendous advances on the front.
There seemed to be
The gun's all fired. It didn't smell like
Yeah,
shit.
there was no upper deckers or dumb shit like that. It seemed to be kind of a comedy of errors.
Kind of sad. You're kind of bummed you're back.
Yeah.
But you also can't be like, oh, what if the Archduke goes, where's that weird guy?
So
You know?
he sends back to normal duties: barrack maintenance and drills in the morning, gun instruction in the afternoon, and cutthroat poker tournaments and tarot card readings in the evening.
Huh.
So they kind of like currency is charisma, John.
The
You're
currency
right.
is
Like,
charisma.
He
Yeah,
was
there's
likable
this
enough to
thing
not send him to the brig.
where the idea that the guys that go and actually fight and watch their friends get murdered and do brave things and advance and get to dig a trench further. That at the end of the day, they want to come home to some simple black magic and enjoy themselves.
Tell
Can
me how I'm
anybody
gonna
defy
die.
the rule of law
Yeah.
and God?
Can we do poker or some
I've
kind
had
of
a long day
mystic
of-
reading?
Trenchfoot and abject horror. I would just
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
little bit of the occult.
Yeah, I would like some mysticism. And I'm looking at you, Eric, with a K now.
Reality is fucking
But
awful.
it is true.
Yeah, it can't get much worse.
There
So,
is.
Can you show me there's an afterlife?
Yeah,
I mean, that's one of the things about the mobilization of humanity
Can I have one of those beers?
to destroy each other.
Thank you.
That is interesting. Is that you find out that everybody has a role to play. And it's something they did with like a League of Their Own, where it's like everybody's doing the war. Like it's one of the things that like brings us together is destroying ourselves. Is
War is a force that gives us meaning.
War is a force that gives us
yes,
meaning,
yes,
and
yes.
and everybody has a role to play, and everybody has a gift to give, and it is something that binds us together as a people, and it also makes us understand what our gifts are. And sometimes you just fall into that accidentally by being thrust into it, and it turns out, you know what your shit is? Magic. Showing these guys some fucking bullshit at the end of the day of murdering
Giving
some
these guys a good time,
motherfuckers.
making them forget for a minute
and
about the horror of the other 18 hours of the day.
and the possibility of otherness and spirituality being otherness and the possibility of the beyond.
So that's actually later, as he later goes on trial for a number of things like fraud and black ass magic. That's one of the things he argues is like, how is what I'm doing any different than
Right.
religion? So I don't want to spoil any more of that, but like,
No,
that's a very good salient point that you made because, dude, he's just giving these guys a little bit of hope at the end of fucking chopping up bodies.
Yeah.
There's a moment in the war where they have like one of the part of like the hard part of war, other than killing people you've never seen before.
And knowing that they're just like you and from another corner of the world, and,
Well, you
just
and
wanna-
basically you're killing yourself every time you kill someone
That's
else.
exactly right.
Because we're all
God
one.
and drag.
Yeah.
Yes. And eventually you will live that moment again as you're reincarnated into that being.
Absolutely.
So you will look at yourself in the eyes as you're being killed by yourself. Logistics, like getting food and fuel and water. So like there was a point when they were in doing like trench warfare and like it was just a drought. And both sides like went to one well.
Yeah, do you got any water? Yeah. It's them meeting around the Christmas tree on Christmas Day, that
Yes.
same thing.
And they were both like the Jews were talking in Yiddish to each other. The the non-Jews were talking in
Non-Yiddish.
non-Yiddish.
Yeah.
Everybody like they found common ground around the fucking watering
Well,
hole.
the common-
and people were like, "Get back to killing each other, you idiots!"
Yeah, because those people had money.
Yeah.
And so it was people being
They had
like,
the water.
"Oh, you guys, you got with the Germans around a Christmas tree on Christmas Day." Like everybody got punished. Everybody got admonished because they were like, "Oh, no. Your thing is to be a poor person and get murdered
Yeah.
by other poor people because we
We're
are the
betting
people.
on it.
We are the people with money that are like." Sometimes we hire magicians.
By the way, you gotta see this guy. It's gonna be a shame that I gotta kill you because this kid's really good.
Yeah,
Told me I was gonna have a kid, and I did.
I did. Yeah,
Amazing. Anyways, bye.
yeah.
I mean, a lot of him reminds me of like Woody.
Yeah.
Woody on that frigate, or the
He gets
vessel.
to do what he wants because he makes us happy.
Yeah, well, like that was probably the best boat to be on because there was a guy that would entertain you at some point.
By
Well,
giving the menu funny names.
when the sheer
Woody Guthrie episode is what we're talking about.
the sheer necessitating thing that you have as a commander at that level where you're like, we might not make it. We just got to try our best. How can I possibly use this crew that I have the best way I possibly can? it's not this guy loading up his turds into the cannon.
Because that little experiment will end in failure.
Because that is a big problem.
We learned a lot in the previous war, and one of them is that shit is not a viable projectile.
It does.
It goes everywhere.
Because these guys
The shit hits the fan.
Yeah, and these guys eat it up. So that's a non-starter.
Yeah.
But actually, what would be really good is if this guy just kind of like charms people into thinking they're gay and playing card tricks on them.
Yeah.
Or the moment it doesn't feel like a war.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like everybody has a role to play.
Bob Hope, the USO.
Yeah.
Necessity,
the USO, yeah.
necessity, brings it out of people, and it's like, when there's that person where you're just like, this guy's a fucking pain in the ass. He sucks so bad at his job. He's so bad at his job. I work with him. I hate him. He's dumb. He's ignorant. He's stupid. He has no morals. He's so
Fucking dog.
He's so alien, and he's so shitty, and he's so dumb. And it's like, you know what? I talk about this guy all the time because he's such an alien, and
I don't know what else I'd do if he wasn't here.
Yeah.
What would I have to talk about if this total psychopath wasn't around?
Yeah.
And he gives me so much meaning by having so little.
Yes. Yes, John.
You are almost anti-evolutionary.
Oh my
and I am.
Man, you're really
and
leaning into this Nazi shit.
I am fascinated by where you go next with your totally stupid trajectory.
Bring in the magician. Just don't waste.
Even
We're not going to waste a helmet on him.
even the worst people have a role to play.
Yes.
They do.
Yeah.
The world needs cockroaches.
Yeah.
I love cockroach.
Cockroach. Absolutely.
Not cockroach.
Oh yeah.
Cockroach.
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 So, like I said, Pepe, on his behalf, talks to the Archduke, and the Archduke is like, all right, I'll write a telegram saying how excited I am to have him back.
Gotta have him.
I gotta have him.
Keep him safe.
Hey, I'm the Archduke. I gotta have
He
him.
can't die now.
And so it makes his way back, and he gets. Well, there's a little bit more. Like things take time. Like a telegram gets sent or what. Like
Right. So he gets there before the telegram.
yeah, he gets there, and time goes by. And then you got to schedule a meeting with the Archduke.
Yeah, he's like, who the fuck are you again?
I forget what I fainted at the last show. It was so good, but so I don't remember. But so all this other shit goes on. So he's petitioning the Archduke. Pepe's petitioning the Archduke. Eric, Harry, clap, is still he's at war. So
I'm still here.
Archduke. Then he goes to Sarajevo, and they're like, hey man, you're really good at dousing. Can you find water for us? So he
Fucking with his defining rod?
So yeah, he goes and douses and finds water, and he was as good or better than the geologist they were using.
Really?
Yeah. So bring the magician in again. We're thirsty.
Yeah. Well, the women around here are soaking wet. Don't gotta be Einstein. Figure out if the chicks in the locale is soking wet.
He does another.
It must be a little H2O.
Well,
under
the
the
water's
bedrock.
going right here in your wife's pussy. It must be me.
Show me some respect.
She's mine.
I'm fucking her.
Eye contact. So they let him go do another show.
And oh my god, okay.
So we get the telegrams. All right, the man up top says you got to come do.
Gotta see him.
So Pepe does all this crazy promotion about it again. The amazing Erik Jan Hanussen. But all that promotion kind of had a boomerang effect. So now skeptics are showing up. Who the fuck is this guy who's pretending from Denmark? Have you seen his face? and then the press is showing up. Who is this person that the royalty is coming to see? Who is this guy? And it was so heavily promoted that everyone was there just kind of for the spectacle and not for the show. So he's doing his act and he's killing it, but everyone's just quiet.
Yeah.
And then he does one more act called the telepathic post, which is kind of he people like seal letters, and then like they hand them off to different people, and he does it with the Archduchess's niece, and he fucking nails it.
Oh, nice.
He's like, that letter is in that man's breast pocket, and pulls it out, and she's like, fuck, there it is. And the place goes fucking wild. After a night of like silence, just uneasiness.
Oh, no, but it's the hard sell.
It's the and he
had the
and he
hardest
does
sell
it
of his
with
life.
The niece of the Archduchess. Like, it doesn't get any bigger at that moment. He just fucking nails it again.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So then he gets promoted again in the military.
Yeah.
The Austro-Hungarian
Grand
commander.
Wizard now, probably.
Yeah. Cool hat and everything. Has him designated the Royal Douser of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Royal Douser?
Yeah, he gets them wet.
He negotiates to have a full military guard and translator as he travels around the province doing
Finding water.
and performing shows and shit.
Well, the land is filled with peaches for me to cream. I
Sweet to
believe it
taste.
Should be quite.
He also negotiated one more thing. I'd like a female assistant.
Oh, God. Fertility of the land.
That's right.
My people are tired.
Thirsty.
It's not called Father Earth.
In 1918, so he's like traveling around. So he's kind of like, is he does he have like a real military job? Is he a showman? Is he kind of just freelancing? It's kind of doing whatever at this point. So he's starting to believe his own bullshit. Hey, guess what? I have a full guard. I even negotiated a hot chick assistant.
Yeah.
And it's all being paid for by the empire.
Right.
During wartime.
Yeah.
I used to be in the trench a year ago.
Yeah.
Right? So in 1918, he
There's water under here. You're all stupid.
believe me.
Trust me.
You got a needle in your hair, lady. July 1st, 1918, he unravels the mysterious case of Mohammed Aga Dziznik, who was murdered in his own harem.
Oh, well, that is tough.
The case had baffled experts for over a year. It took him 2 hours.
No.
Oh, it's
So,
wet
like,
over here.
Literally, just like solve the case back to like the psychic detective work.
Yeah. You believe this bullshit? Murdered in my own harem. I was fucking all of them.
Who would want to kill me in my own sex slavery dungeon? Could it have been an inside job? Who
Who's
knows?
to say? Maybe it was conspiracy.
So, like, his ego is getting more of a boost. Like, fuck, I'm solving crimes that the cops can't fucking solve. I'm finding water in the desert. I'm charming the pants off of royalty. Dude, I'm the shit.
You want me to find your wife's clit? Check it out one time. It's on my thumbs, idiot.
She had two.
I'm playing PlayStation with your wife's clits.
Who's got two clits?
I'll tell you where my dick is. It's in her ace. So like I said, he's kind of a shit. He's double dipping. He's like paying himself double from the Emperor's Fund, like as military, and then also as consultant. He's ignoring orders from a command, like higher up command. He's just like, whatever, come and get me. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna take 2 days for the letter to get to me, 2 days to get back. By then, I'm gonna
Yeah.
meet somebody else.
Now
Finding
I'm going to
water.
tell you your wife's going to have another kid.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
wait,
gonna be
what?
mine. In 9 months, your wife's gonna give birth to my kid.
Respect me.
Look me in the eyes.
That's just good.
So then he was stripped of his military status. Like, you're fired. And so he fakes a deathly illness. Yeah, I'm sick. And they sent him to military hospital.
No.
So while he's in the military hospital, awaiting for like kind of trial for being an asshole, the Bulgarian army surrenders to British and French forces, and military hospitals are the first things to get liberated.
Uh-huh.
So he's back on a train to Vienna, and like the armistice happens. World War I ends.
Yeah.
1918.
No trouble.
Done.
No trouble.
No money.
No money.
No money, no trouble.
So at this point, like he goes back to Vienna, and because of the armistice, like Vienna doesn't have any electricity. Everything's like candlelit. But despite that, he hits the ground running, and he's selling out theaters. Does the Apollo, like the original Apollo,
Wow.
where before I think
He got hooked off stage, yeah.
Now he's selling it out when there's no power.
He's probably great in candlelight.
Oh, and candlelight with the shadows on his
Yeah.
face.
Dude, my magic in the dark? No.
You haven't seen
Whose
you haven't
dick
seen
is
magic.
this?
I've
until
never
you
seen magic like this.
Is this my dick?
want to know. Whose dick is this? I'll tell you.
Excuse me.
He was such
Mr.
a
Hanussen, whose dick is this?
stupid question.
It's mine. They're all mine.
All your dicks are belong to us. So he's selling out he becomes such a household name that imitators like show up.
Oh,
And so
wow.
like, he has to promote himself as the one true Hanussen.
Oh
Because
my
people are
God.
spelling it differently.
Will the real Hanussen please stand up?
Back to the Eminem allegory. Of course.
good.
Of course. It all circles back to 8 Mile.
8 kilometers.
It does. Mom spaghetti.
It's 8 kilometers. Mom spaghetti. Fucking nerd.
He solves the case of the Austro-Hungarian state bank printing theft. This was
Jesus.
dude, this is another one like fucking psychic detective. The place where they print money. So like this is post-war, so like there's new currency and shit, and so they're making money there, and like money starts disappearing, and they don't know what's going on.
God.
And like what the fuck? And like the economy is so fragile post-war that like if
We
you don't,
cannot fuck this up,
you
you
cannot
guys.
fuck up the new money.
We're creating this bullshit that is a figment of people's imagination.
And if it's disappearing,
We say it has meaning, and if it has no meaning, then it has no meaning, and we are all fucked.
who's an expert in shit disappearing? Call up the magician.
Yeah, yeah.
So they call him up, and he's like, "All right, I need fucking blueprints to the place,
Yeah.
and just like don't tell anybody I'm there.
Give me a big diaper.
Give me a gun.
Give me a big diaper. Give me a big gun. Give me a big diaper, and I'm gonna
Heads will roll.
I'm gonna nest. I'm gonna nest in that mint. I'm gonna nest in your Austro-Hungarian mint, and I'm gonna find out who's fucking swiping.
And I'm not
this
leaving
cash.
until I find. That's why I need the diaper.
Yeah.
So
Gonna have a watchful eye.
he fucking like just like walks around the place, like looking down the hallway, and nobody pays attention to him because he's not a cop.
Owl eye.
Doing total like I'm watching you shit, but nobody gives a shit about him because he's not wearing a police uniform. He's just a dude wearing whatever shit he
Like,
wears.
what's up, nerd? Suck my dick.
I'm a tour. I'm a high school student here on work release.
I don't understand how money works.
Can you explain to me the fiat currency system in place? So nobody pays. So they just kind of act normal, and then he does muscle readings on some of the workers, and just kind of looks people in the eyes. And then he's like, "The money's still here. It's an inside job, and give me a few days, and I'll find it." And then there's
the money's still here. It's an inside job, but I don't know where it is.
yeah, and so
That's a
then,
bold fucking claim.
yeah,
That's a very bold claim.
yeah.
The money hasn't left. It's an inside job, and it's still here, but I don't know where it is. That's like, I'm a failure, and I'm going to be a bigger failure if I'm wrong. That's a bold fucking claim.
But again, like
Then he finds it,
like the fucking.
Then he finds it.
and then he finds
A couple days later.
Yeah, it was an inside job. The money never left, and he found it. And he made a big deal about being such a baller about it that like the chief of police was like, "Dude, my detectives helped you like do 90% of this shit.
Right.
Fuck you." And he was like, "No, I'm clairvoyant. Hello."
Yeah, those guys were sucking my dick the whole time.
Yeah, they did help me unleash this furious nut that was burdening my psychic mind. I can't think without an empty ball sack, idiot. In fact, pee stored in the balls. So they were drinking my piss. Your cops drink my piss.
And they love it.
They can't get
and they're
enough.
sick. And,
And
now,
and I can find water anywhere.
and now they're hooked.
Speaking of hooked, I'm at the Apollo next week. He fucking goes on stage like later that week, and he asks for 2 volunteers to come on stage. He hypnotizes them into acting like dogs, and he goes, "Look, it's the chief of police and his favorite detective."
Oh,
He fucking
Very
shits
good.
hard on the local police because he solves the
Oh my God.
so funny.
That's so good.
And like that's a theme like later in his career.
Oh, yeah,
just-
hating the cops?
Yeah, and then just
ACAB?
not making any fans with the authorities.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
he's,
right,
he's
because
just showing them up.
They're working off of a series of.
Yeah, they're working off a series of rules,
Yeah, there's-
which this guy
not
is
this
like, no, thank you.
No, but Ellie's just like the bank thing is just the money printing thing is just like the boat, where he's like, I will fake it until I can figure out what it might be. And he probably, I'm guessing he solved it with the cops, but he was like, I'm the psychic, so I'm the expert.
But also, it was. I mean,
He did a
those
significant
are
amount of work. but-
incredible deductions.
Sure.
Impeccable detective work. You have to say, like, I mean, there
Because
is.
you know why he could do it? Because he could think like a fraud.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What would I do?
He's thinking
in
about
this
what
situation?
would I do if I did it bad?
Yeah.
That's how this guy wins. A lot of times, he's like, you know,
Grease paint,
if you're gonna be good at
Yeah.
if you're gonna be shitty, be good at it.
Yes.
This guy was good at it, and he was like, look at all these fucking losers that aren't good at it.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? You don't know I'm shitty because I'm so
good that you
at it.
can't smell the shit
You can't
on
smell
me.
the shit, but it's in a cannon.
Well, I mean,
And I'm gonna shoot it everywhere.
It's fired at your house. It's fired at your Christmas
But it's like,
tree.
catch me if you can shit.
Yeah.
That's why those guys get hired instead of, they go to quote unquote jail, but they
No,
get,
after you pull the biggest score, the victim is looking to give you more money.
yeah.
Yeah.
To
Never let it happen again. Yeah, but
Inside job. 1919, he started a film company because film. Now he's mystified by film. This is amazing. This is an amazing technology. Imagine how I could use it to promote or tell a story, right? Come on. Fuck him. He would promote his real life experience as a psychic detective in his movies. He would, of course, be producer, director, lead actor, of course.
Duh. Hi.
total pro.
In the movie Hypnosis, Hanussen's first adventure, he played a thoughtful, pipe-smoking Sherlock Holmes type named Gaston.
Uh-huh.
His evil nemesis was a turbaned Indian fakir who hypnotized Viennese women into sexual slavery, replacing them with zombie doubles.
He's an Indian, turban-wearing, snake-charming,
Sexual slave hypnotizing motherfucker.
He's like,
It bombed.
it bombed?
Yeah.
Dude, I would watch that now.
Now, it's probably incredible.
Yeah.
But it did bomb.
It's also silent though, right?
It must have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the guy playing the piano.
Yeah. Him puffing a pipe going, I gotta shit it opposite. Pig.
Nah, Douglas.
But the kid was asleep.
The man's not an Indian at all. He's actually a swarthy Italian.
I can't believe it didn't drip off of the sweaty
Covered
motherfucker.
in grace.
Yeah, there's more to that movie where like he's like a Christ figure and it's so stupid. And it like sexually whatever. But so, the war's over. He's got a little bit of coin. And so he starts making, a nice living performing for rich landowners in the new independent Czech Republic.
Oh, okay.
So just like doing seances, like
What's up, dude?
Rich people love partying with their money.
They do, and they love partying with their family.
That's right.
And they
Off a
love
boat.
bringing them back after they part with them
Yeah.
for money.
Where is the money that you
Yeah.
said was mine?
Who did you say was more of a bitch, me or my brother? Because I don't remember. Can you
Hey sis, can I fuck you?
can you reignite the abuse you started while on this earthly plane?
Can we not move past the trauma you inflicted on us?
Yeah, I was thinking about the trauma I suffered while you were on this mortal coil, and I thought I'd bring you back to stir it up a
Because
little
I'm
bit.
just not over it yet. And he's making money doing this shit, and because of his previous interactions with law enforcement and the press and all that, like it's like this guy's got to go. This guy's
It's too much.
too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much. Too much. Too shitty. So he's charged with like fraud and
He's charged with being too much.
He's charged with being too much. Exactly. There's all sorts of technical jargon there, like what the letter of the law says.
The currency can sometimes be too vast.
Sometimes you have inflation because you have too much currency.
It's like, listen, I know this guy has nothing. He's still technically in the service. But he's so good. What do you mean? Everybody likes him. And they love it. And they're all falling for it, and they're going to keep
And
gonna.
that's a problem.
And it's like fearing the stampede.
Well, when you are a charlatan, and I mean that in the best way with him,
Yes.
you can get too big because you get too many eyes on you. And now all of a sudden people are going,
miscellany serves you well sometimes.
wait a minute.
When you're a little bit. The best thing is to be
A tiny bit anonymous.
the most trusted among the elite, the Rasputins. The person that is the most reliable mystic.
Yes.
But only you can afford to know about it because you're in the fucking Illuminati. You're in the Illuminati. You're at Bohemian Grove. This guy, he does muscle readings. And turns out you got a hard on, pal.
You're fucking the giant owl statue. You got tapes of Jeffrey Epstein doing some shit. He doesn't have shit on you. So like he gets charged with these things, and it's a 2-year-long process in court. Again, shit takes time back then.
Yeah.
So he has to he basically goes on trial. Like, are you a psychic? And he's like, yep. I'll show you. Test me. And he just in court. All right, this thing. And he's just like, I'm a psychic.
Am I wrong?
Am
I wrong?
And he wasn't. And people kept pointing out certain things, and he would just continue to fucking fake it until he made it.
Yeah.
He had his defense submitted testimonies from cases that he solved over the past fucking 10 years. Vienna 1920, Budapest 1925, Leipzig 1924, 1927, all from chiefs of police. Prague 1927, Bremen 1928. That he had been instrumental in solving these major crimes. The guy's a legit psychic detective. Acquit him of all charges.
Yeah. I mean, he sounds more like a detective.
But a good story is a good story.
That's the thing. But it's more like exactly what they do in Manhunter.
Yeah.
Yes.
To become the guy that you have to get into the mind of the serial killer. You have to be the scumbag to find the scumbag.
Yeah.
You got to be the man to beat the man. You got to
Smell yourself.
You got to smell it. You want the scent. Smell yourself.
And it turns out it smells like shit.
It smells like grease paint. Yeah. It smells disgusting. But yeah, that is kind of the thing too, right? Where it's you are a person that is of law and order, so you don't understand disorder. If you're a lawman, you don't understand it.
You don't get what I do.
If you are a person of anarchy, then you are oh yeah, no, they'll do anything.
Yeah.
No, you don't understand. Oh, they'd be scurrilous enough to do this? Yeah, duh. You want to know how I know?
Because I do it myself.
Because I did it 4 times today.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
They're going to come in here?
So then, a year after his arrest, so this is 1929, a year after he was initially arrested, they finally indict him. They finally get their shit together. And they indict him on charges of duping, quote, mentally impaired citizens of the Republic. And the big part of the debate came down to the meaning of the word idiot.
Oh, God, yes.
So the state is kind of defending people who they think are stupid. And that he's taking advantage of stupid people. And they're like, well, the definition of idiot is technically a medical term. And the fact that you have to prove that these people that I duped are mentally incapacitated.
Bring him in.
Dude, it is fucking out of hand. So, 1, I've proven I'm a psychic. 2, you got to prove the people I dupe are retarded. That's the burden of proof's on the state.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a psychic. They're retarded, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm definitely psychic. How do I know they're not retarded? Because I'm a psychic.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong.
That's the thing with the fucking the goddamn gay porno movie. It's Lloyd's of London. You want a piece of this? Mm-hmm. Here is George
Payne
fisting Caligula.
Yeah.
Do you want a piece of this as a company? You're from the 1600s.
You want to own this?
You want a piece?
No.
You want? Oh, you don't?
There's more in there.
You don't? Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
He's got a whole elbow.
Wait till you see what Scorpio gets up to.
You think the Marquis de Sade was the most demanding role yet? Oh, wait till you see Caligula. The trial went on for 2 years, so he's working during the interim.
Jesus Christ, 2 years.
It's 1930 in January, the Offenbach police enlist him in their hunt for a murder of a wealthy merchant. He helps fucking solve that shit like that.
Yeah. Duh, idiots, I did it.
How do I know? Not only am I a detective, I'm also the murderer. And this is a wig.
I do that for sex.
It's a thumb. He conducts a seance in a mansion up like a villa up in the fucking, rich
So
people.
hot.
So fucking hot.
So good.
And he goes into an ecstatic vision where he says,
"Oh yeah."
I see British troops on the march, and there's going to be war in the Pacific in the summer of 1942.
No.
That's in 1930.
No.
Yeah. Yes. He has a vision predicting the war in the Pacific in World War II.
I mean, I guess you could probably say
Kind
that.
of just predict anybody who knows anything.
It's a big ocean.
There's all these Japs and they got boats.
Everybody hates everybody.
You can just say there's going to be war in the Pacific. But I mean, those are details. He didn't say that they were Argentinian troops in
But
fucking...
I mean, the original fallout from World War One was people were like, oh, thank God that's over. That's the end of that.
Yeah, nobody...
the war
in
and all
1930,
wars.
nobody was looking at Japan.
Yeah, and everybody's like, nobody was thinking, these guys are just getting started.
Exactly.
They're just getting warmed up.
1930, Dusseldorf. 79 women and children had been attacked by a hammer and knife-wielding maniac. 11 died.
It was actually a sickle.
Political statement.
Yeah.
The killer had mocked the police, leading him like on a wild goose chase.
Sup, bitch?
The vampire of Dusseldorf
Yeah.
left over 2,000 clues and taunting riddles to the public and the police, and the murderer seemed to need blood from his prey in order to nut.
Jesus.
So that's gonna be a profile. One of you guys
Nut
is gonna
blood,
do.
yeah. The old nut
One
blood.
of you guys, he's dispersing it to us.
Here's your
One
nut
of you
blood.
losers is going to do that.
Look,
What else am I doing, Aaron?
blood and cum are my thing, dude. I'll do it.
Oh, you
My
will.
boat's full. I got this crazy
Boat's full of
Jewish Nazi
cum and-
mind reader.
Come in blood.
They called half of the corpses were discovered with puncture wounds on the neck made by human teeth, and the tiny torsos had been hacked and sexual organs eviscerated.
No.
They called him the vampire of Dusseldorf, the tiger of the Ruhr. The authorities were fucking desperate. They had already employed 300 psychics.
Yeah.
Never mind real detectives. They had
Right,
employed
right.
300 psychics to try and find this guy.
Well, the other psychics are really putting me off my game.
There's a lot of interference. Can you turn the radio down? So they call up Erik. Hanussen.
What's up?
He says he uncovered 26 traits. The criminal was a homosexual, well-educated, severely nearsighted, blonde, a member of the railroad or postal union, overweight, a bicycle enthusiast, and a non-smoker. And those are some of the traits that he deduced.
No
with his
cigarettes as a scene, I
psychic.
guess.
Yeah.
Oh, we found these railroad spikes.
He's a gay non-smoker. Of course he's a murderer.
That's his
He
problem.
rides a bicycle. He must be homosexual.
Christ.
The vampire would write to the newspaper confessing to 2 more murders, giving directions to the burial sites. He drew a map and shit. Erik took the message as like a personal reply to him and wrote back through the newspaper to the vampire of Dusseldorf. And he said, "Turn yourself in or I will single-handedly hunt you down. There is no escaping my psychic mind."
No!
When the vampire of Dusseldorf was apprehended, none of those traits were true. He was not blonde.
Skinny woman.
For 20/20 vision.
Boat operator.
Loved women. Loved pussy.
Clear as day. Neck deep in pussy.
Literally. Back to court, May of 1930. He's back in court proving that he's a psychic. And he, they have him do some more tricks, like to prove.
Yeah, during recess, do some card stuff.
Yeah, like it was, a sealed envelope and like what's in the.
Tell me if this is decaf or regular.
There's no orange cap on it. Fuck.
Fuck.
Sanka. Thank you very much. He does all these, public examinations and shit. Not gonna bore you with the fucking details of that, but
Thank you.
The verdict reads the judge reads the verdict at 11:45 at night. He's totally fucking acquitted. they're like, yeah, you're fucking psychic, dude.
11:45 at night. Like this guy's been up all day, being like, "Yo,
Who took the caffeine out of
here's
his
the deal.
coffee?"
I don't know who made the coffee. I don't know why it sucks.
I don't give a shit.
I don't
where
give a
it
fuck.
came
Let me
from.
tell you, this guy's the real deal. This guy's psychicer than a motherfucker.
Psychicer than a mother.
He's psychicer than a motherfucker. He knows my middle name. I don't even know that. And he's talking to this werewolf.
Yeah, apparently it was a homosexual blonde vampire.
I'm a sexual.
The front page, the newspaper's front page said, "Miracle and Leitmeritz, Hanussen acquitted, clairvoyance exists, legally confirmed, Hanussen can peer into the future. Court of law, this man knows all. Triumph for occultism."
Wow.
March 1932, he enters another trance in a seance and predicts Hitler's future. It makes the front page of his own his own newspaper.
Oh, he's got his own
Because
newspaper.
He's got his own newspaper again. He predicts that Hitler would become Reichschancellor in 1 year's time, and this is still before Hitler even has German papers. So that's in 1932.
Austrian.
Yeah, he's still Austrian at the time. Furthermore, he predicts that Hitler's foes, von Hindenburg and other nationalist allies, would be the one to escort him to the General Bismarck's office. And, that's what happened. That prophecy, how it was, if you don't have the total context at the time, Hitler was a joke at this point in Germany's history.
The outlier, the original the Donald Trump. There was no way he can do it.
No fucking
There's no
way.
way.
A
There's
joke. And this guy's saying not only is he going to become Reichschancellor in a year, and he's not even a citizen, his enemies are going to walk him
They're
right
going
up
to
to
escort him.
It was
It is really
out
crazy.
of hand
those,
to predict that. And
those
I'm
outliers, people forget Ronald Reagan was a joke. Ronald Reagan was a fucking a neo-Nazi.
the movie star?
To the old Republican establishment, and then the
Morning in
center
America.
the center changed. The center changed, and it went crazier and crazier and crazier, and it's never stopped.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So those predictions also played into Hitler's mindset, right?
Destiny.
Fate.
It's
Occultism.
Yeah. I wish I didn't have to.
Yeah.
But I do.
This is my calling, right?
Yeah.
And at this point, he was holed up in a hotel, fucking thinking the world was gonna So he reads this and he's like, "Send that guy a thank you note." Mm-hmm. And he does. Erik also predicted a jerk to the right of on the political spectrum.
Oh, okay.
And a suspension of the Weimar Constitution.
Wow.
And in 1933, nationalist leaders would outlaw the Communist Party and rule by military decree.
Fuck.
Let's see. He then predicts an auto wreck of Prince Lobkowitz. He's a famous. He was a prince, in one of those countries over there.
Sure.
Taking part in a very famous auto race, and he's like, they're like, "What do you think? Where do you think the prince is going to place?" And he's like, "Oh, dead last, and in a fiery wreck." And then he does. Mm-hmm. So then he becomes known in the press as the man who's never wrong, and so that galvanizes more of they go, "Well, what else did this guy say?" Mm-hmm. And they see the shit he said about Hitler. And they're like, "Oh fuck. Maybe this guy's right."
Destiny.
Yeah, so it's causing it has a dual effect of emboldening Hitler supporters, and then also firing up the communists in the
Yeah. To say it's inevitable.
Yeah, and they're like, "Fuck this guy," and then so it's having this crazy effect, and then it affects this this very interesting fella named Count Wolf Heinrich von Helldorf.
Oh yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
From the von Helldorfs.
The very
Wait, Count Wolf?
Yeah.
Von Heinrich?
Not the vampire of Dusseldorf.
Von Heinrich von Helldorf?
That's exactly right. Dude, so he was the black sheep of this aristocratic,
You don't say.
Prussian family. Total libertine, hedonist, fucking maniac. Also into the occult. He was one of those early Nazi guys before the party took power, who was deep into the occult. Whew, man, this is going to be the end of this episode.
Okay.
I know it's going long. But...
No, that's fine.
So he reads these prophecies. He's like, holy shit, this guy's on the money. He's proven in a court of law as a psychic.
Yeah.
He's solving all sorts of cases left and right.
Yeah. Shoved his head off the roof on a table.
The table was right.
Yeah.
The table was Jewish. And this guy like knows Goring. Like he's super well connected. And he sees all the stuff he says about Hitler, and like he conducts the first anti-Bolshevik movement. He starts the anti-Bolshevik movement in Berlin. He coordinated the first pogrom in Berlin against Jews. Most of the victims were Gentiles. Apparently, he couldn't even do that right.
Wolf von Heinrich von Hellstrom was the first.
He conducted the first pogrom in Berlin.
That is fucking insane.
Super deep into the black arts, and had previously witnessed Erik perform live twice before and was like mesmerized by this guy. He was like, this guy's the real fucking deal. So he invites him to his villa. And so this is like in fucking like 32 or something, right? And I just kind of have to like read some of this stuff.
Hit me. Drop it. Drop the needle. Drop the fucking needle. Aaron?
Okay.
Aaron?
So Hanussen was Heldorf's guest at his villa on the Wannsee. Heldorf confessed to Erik how much he admired his lifestyle and asked him if he believed in the movement. Erik gave his typical non-committal reply. A true clairvoyant possesses no political beliefs, only the ability to read the stars, and they were favorable to Heldorf and to his associate. And he invites him again for another like weekend outing. And Erik pulls out all the stops for he called it a night in the Orient.
Oh, well, that's where you start with the Circus of the Orient.
Exactly. It's all.
Yeah.
It was a ritual celebration centered around the Hindu love goddess Saraswati, the four-armed consort of Lord Brahma. On the yacht's upper deck was an enormous phallic-shaped altar, the symbol of the Indian lingam. It's a penis.
Oh, nice.
The waiters were decked out in Persian garb, as was a cobra snake charmer. Back to snake charming on boats. Ensuring that all were sufficiently provided with champagne and other intoxicants was Herr Maharaja Hanussen. Erik. He was dressed up in a turban, attired in a turban and gown of a yogi master.
Good God.
The blonde baroness, after a hypnotic induction, embraced an imaginary love partner and moaned convincingly on a white fur rug. A smooth-skinned 14-year-old Indian boy, Kabir, was employed to assist with the phonographic entertainment and hand the naked bathers towels when they swam back to the boat.
Jesus.
Erik yanked the boy from his station and had him dragged to the lower deck. He was accused of staring too closely at the ladies' exposed torsos. He denied the charge. Heldorf took from air. He had the Indian servant stripped and tied to a tabletop. The Nazi count commanded them to assemble as many of the celebrants downstairs as possible. As a skilled equestrian, Heldorf always kept a hand crop concealed in his boots. So the aristocrat began to flagellate Kabir with a severe barrage of lashings. The beatings were so strenuous that the helpless youngster passed out from pain. Then, sensing that he may have transgressed the outer limit of sexual cruelty, Heldorf yelled, "All right, I'm a sadist. I admit it. We're all sadists. In the essay, my friends, one must learn to be desensitized to petty human compassion."
Whoa.
And that's when Erik is basically on his way into being inducted as a full-fledged Nazi.
He just saw some shit.
Into the SS.
Into, the inner circle from there.
I love it.
He got there and he saw his scapegoat. He was like, I can become closer by...
Well, here's my mark.
Yeah.
The weakness of others is my opportunity.
Yes.
You see a character flaw. I see an open window.
Yeah.
with which to push my father through
Yes.
Yes.
his
And
weakness
onto
is
a
men.
table.
And I am that
I
man
don't know what the
who's
table signifies, but
well, it's what we tie the little Indian boy
Right,
to and
right.
whip the shit out of him until he passes out from pain
yes.
on our orgy boat.
Yes.
What?
Because he was looking at
He was looking
maybe, maybe not, but it doesn't-
dude, I don't fucking know, but
Aaron, first three-parter, very excited.
God damn.
That shit is wild.
dude, what? This guy, Count Wolf von Helldorf,
Yeah, Heldorf.
and he's into black magic and orgies,
Yeah,
and he's a
it's
Nazi.
Helldorf.
He's into the
He's a Heldorf.
blackest ass magic.
Hey, I'm a sadist. Sue me.
Oh, yo, I
sue
just
me.
beat him to
Oh, yeah,
unconscious.
You got me.
Guilty as charged.
Guilty as charged. Yeah, we're all sadists here.
I'm
We're
an
all trying
orgy
to
boat.
punish the other.
If you're gonna be serious about this Nazi shit, you're gonna have to move past petty compassion.
Don't give
I'm
me that
sorry, I'm
look.
enlightened.
Don't give me that look.
So there's winners and losers, and there's victors and victims.
And then there's the Ubermensch. And
then-
which one are you?
And I'm kind of a hell man.
Yeah. Why am I having this conversation right now?
You
You're
smell
Danish.
like grease paint.
I gotta go back to my power slave.
You're neutral.
Aaron, amazing continuation
I'm
of the
sorry
program.
it took so long.
No. It was absolutely
Great.
fantastic.
I mean, this guy was just.
He was too much. He was a bit much.
He was a bit much.
And
There's
now
a
we're
lot.
gonna get into Hitler country next.
That's
Yikes.
exactly-
And you know that's trouble.
From what I
I
hear,
mean, you agree with his ideas, but I don't.
Whoa.
I don't like them.
the Volkswagen is one of the most reliable cars ever made.
Volkswagen?
The Volkswagen.
They had some emission
Volkswagen.
issues,
Listen.
you know.
Guys, I'm gonna say goodnight. My name is John Fahey. I love you.
I'm Aaron, hard-bodied cum god PETA, and
Hot bodied.
Hard,
hot.
HBCG, folks. Hashtag it.
Historically,
either way, these kids in a trench coat with a huge cock will love you.
They're shredded.
never so.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Holy shit.
Starburns Audio, a podcast network.